Side tonight, we're going to talk about Tim Norton being found guilty on all charges in the death of Andre Montgomery. First, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit that notification button, but also comment on this video. Tim Norton has finally been found guilty of killing his family member, Andre Montgomery. It was a murder for hire. Basically, he wanted to get insurance from Andre Montgomery. He took out several policies. What really gets me about this whole trial and everything is that Andre Montgomery had a premonition that this would happen. In the text with Robbie Montgomery, he told her he did not want to come back to St. Louis because he believed that Tim Norton would kill him. And when people tell you to go along with your first premonition, you should do it, because I believe that Andre will be alive. But Andre is dead. And it's sad because the man was truly one of the stars of the show. He tried to straighten out his life. He was doing it. But Tim never liked him. Tim hated Andre Montgomery, and he showed it with the murder for hire. Tim Norman is a disgusting human being, just like his father, who killed another man. He got on the stand just like a sociopath and played his part. The prosecution never re-examined him because they knew this guy was nuts. But why hasn't Miss Robbie apologized to Miss Griggs? A woman who sent her son there so he can become a better human being, which he was becoming a better human being. It's sad to see people literally in this nation die for nothing at all. Just for a few dollars and few cents. And Tim was blaming everything that happened there on Andre. We call it projection. Blame somebody else for what you are doing. Andre even came out and said Tim stole the money, the $200,000 from Miss Robbie. It wasn't Andre. Andre kept telling her Tim did it, but she doesn't want to believe it because she knows that Tim is her son. And you know how mothers is with their sons. They will stand by them if it's the last thing on the earth. And Miss Robbie stood by Tim, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. I'm going to read you this article from the St. Louis Dispatch real quick, and we're going to hear from Tim's lawyer. A St. Louis jury Friday found former St. Louis reality star, TV star, Tim Norman Montgomery guilty of conspiring to kill his nephew. Norman, 43, was convicted on all charges after the jury deliberated for about 17 hours. He faced 2 federal for-hire counts, 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud. Norman orchestrated the 2016 murder of 21-year-old nephew Andre Montgomery, then attempted to cash out up to $450,000 in fraudulent life insurance policy he took out on Montgomery about 18 months before the death, the jury decided. Norman and his nephew star in Welcome to Sweetie Pie's, a long-running own reality series about the popular soul food business Robbie Montgomery, Norman's mother, and Andre Montgomery's grandmother found in the St. Louis area. The verdict Friday concluded the case that has captured the nation's attention. We're going to listen to Tim's lawyer after the verdict of him being found guilty. I'm sorry, this is taking all day. I don't understand this.
Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second.
Also, I don't know if everyone knows your name, so if you don't mind saying that at the beginning.
Yeah, Mike Leonard Trial Lawyers in Chicago. On behalf of Mr. Norman, we're extremely surprised and disappointed in the outcome. Obviously, we respect the work of the jury. The jury worked very hard on this case. Our surprise stems from really two factors. Number one, the government really had two-star witnesses in this case, Miss Ellis and Mr. Hill, who were shown to be on cross-examination extremely non-credible. So we thought that, combined with the fact that Tim testified so extensively at this trial, which is highly unusual for a defendant to get on the stand in these types of cases and testify so well and really be not subject to any cross-examination. For those reasons, we're very surprised and disappointed with the outcome. But we understand the work of the jury. We respect that, but it's with a lot of disappointment that I stand before you here today.
Was there any question of the jury, the makeup of the jury?
No, I mean, you know, we're not making any racial statements about the jury. The jury was made up, selected by our input. Of course, a lot of the individuals on the jury pool had extensive exposure to the show, or extensive exposure to Tim or Andre. So that was a factor in the selection process. There was a lot of jurors who indicated that they were familiar with Tim or Andre, the show. So that made it difficult. And I think the viewership of the show is highly skewed towards African Americans. So if you have someone who knows the show and they've already formed opinions or impressions, it's not a race issue, but certainly it's an exposure to them before the trial.
Were you seeking appeal based on that argument?
No. Our appeal will be premised on a lot of the legal issues that arose. This case really presented a lot of novel legal issues. As you remember, there were two very significant Fifth Amendment issues. There's an issue about whether Chris Carroll could invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. We know, as you've seen from our filings with the court, that Mr. Carroll was interviewed extensively before the trial. He vehemently denies any meeting ever took place between him and Mr. Hill. We obviously believe that would have been highly significant in anybody evaluating the evidence. And then secondly, Mr. Yangham, who was another linchpin of the government's case, he again would have testified unequivocally that he met with Andre Montgomery. He filled out an insurance application with him. So those two witnesses would have obviously had a giant impact upon this case. Those are legal issues, whether Fifth Amendment rights could be invoked or not. Those will be part of our post-trial motions and part of our appeal. There was also a number, as would be expected of the case of this length and magnitude, a lot of legal issues in terms of admissions of evidence that we objected to. Again, great respect for Judge Ross, but you obviously are going to have differences of opinion about what's relevant, and those, of course, we subjects of our motion practice. You know, that's sometimes a difference of opinion between counsel and a court. No disrespect to Judge Ross, because he's a great one, but there's obviously going to be legal issues about what was admitted and what was not admitted.
Can you talk about Tim's spirits?
Tim's what?
Tim's spirits.
Tim is an amazingly optimistic and strong guy. So he's been in custody for quite a long time already. He had to sit through the deliberations by himself, and he's a very strong person. And so I think he still, despite the verdict, has a lot of optimism that we're going to overcome this and ultimately prevail.
What was you?
Tim got what he so rightfully deserved, and that is being put in jail for the rest of his life. This is truly an evil man, a man who had the world in the palm of his hand. All he had to do was wait to inherit Miss Robbie's business. She set everything up for him, but it just wasn't enough. See, some people have to really understand that some people can't be rehabilitated. Some people need to be put behind bars for the rest of their lives. And Tim is one of those people. He looks good on the outside, but on the inside, he's a very troubled human being. And we saw this with the death of Andre Montgomery. Hopefully, this will bring everything to a boiled top in which Miss Griggs can feel a little bit better that she knows the killer of her son will be in jail for the rest of his life. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site This Quick Take. I hope you subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, but also share this video.